And so, you know, I thought about this for a couple of months, and I decided, you know, I got some more inspiration just to take some of the Wing Chun and some of the Shaolin, which are Buddhist martial arts. And so there's this Buddhist connection with the Buddhist chi breathing and enlightenment and the martial arts, as well as Reiki, being, you know, Dr. Sui was also a samurai. He was from the samurai class of families. And he also studied martial arts and meditation and all these same things that I've spent many years doing. And so I thought, well, maybe I can incorporate Reiki into some of these self-defense moves. And what happened is I gave myself some time, and I went to Sugar House Park, which is another place that I used to always go when I was a kid and have fun at in Salt Lake. And so I would just go there at Sugar House Park, and I would just empty my mind, and I would invoke Reiki, and I would just be still, and movements would come to me, and the movements seemed to be loosely based on some of the Wing Chun that I had learned for years, but in a kind of a different way to use the movements, along with kind of movement and footwork. And what I found is, you know, after some time doing this, I came up with these 18 drills. I call them Reikido, or spirit palm. But it's the idea of kind of invoking Reiki and then projecting Reiki out there. And with the movements, kind of the movements moving with the Reiki and projecting Reiki, bringing it back within oneself and then projecting it outward. And so from these 18 different movements, at first I kind of thought, well, that's what they are, is kind of projecting Reiki outward. And then over the years, as I would practice these 18 drills, I also found that, well, a lot of the work that this Reikido, or the spirit palm, is doing is not so much using Reiki to project it outwards to maybe defend yourself, or to awaken others, or to drive away the darkness that's within someone, right? That is being aggressive and that's attacking you. But it's actually to drive away the darkness or the aggressiveness that was inside of me. And then that was kind of an epiphany, and in a way it was kind of a shock, but I found that, you know, from doing the Reikido exercises, that it was actually kind of melting and transforming something inside of me, some sort of anger or darkness, and it was kind of like an inner alchemy, and it was kind of burning that away and purging that out of me. And so then I found, well, these 18 exercises were actually getting rid of a lot of my anger and a lot of my thoughts of violence or revenge. And then, you know, more years went by, and I was doing these Reikido exercises, and I had a couple more downloads with meditation and with invoking Reiki and doing my nightly self-healing work. And that's usually when I get my little downloads from Spirit. And I had an entity or a being that came to me in one of these downloads, and he showed me all of these different grab breakaways and ways to break out of any kind of grab or hold that an opponent would try to put you in. And I kept getting up, and I'd write down all these techniques that I've shown, and I'd try to go back to bed, and then more would come. And I spent probably about 4 or 5 hours that night kind of getting up and writing more information down. And so I've shown literally hundreds of ways to use the Wing Chun, which is a Buddhist art, in ways that even the Wing Chun masters don't even know that is within it, you know, techniques that are within Wing Chun. And so there are literally hundreds of all of these ways to kind of break free out of grabs or restraints or holds, and then to project. And then when I looked back at the Reikido exercises, then I found, oh, well, all of these Reikido exercises, these spirit palm exercises, start with a grab breakaway, and then they have a projection. And so I was kind of amazed that that was actually inside of this this knowledge that I was given. Because, you know, when I was creating the spirit palm, I was just kind of empty mind and just putting movements out there, and these movements would solidify and become more and more exact, right? And then I would say, okay, well, that's one of the drills, and so it took some time, but there are 18 drills. And then they tend to kind of move from side to side and go back and forth, and utilize, you know, breath in a way, and relaxation, and the Reiki, you know. And what I found is that even though I spent many years doing Shaolin Kung Fu, which does have a lot of the heavy breathing and the Qi breathing inside of it, and the Wing Chun, which is more about structure and probably has less of that Qi breathing. Well, for some reason, the spirit palm and the Reikido would really excite the Reiki and would really build the Reiki. And I'd feel all this Reiki heat just emanating, you know. And so then what I found is in between each set of exercises, I would actually do another invocation of the Reiki, and I would stand in a posture, and it would be like a standing meditation, or what they call standing stakes that they use in internal martial arts or Tai Chi. And they're standing postures where you just build Qi, right? And so I'd do these Reiki invocations, and I would just stand there, and I'd let that bosom on fire feeling, you know, that whole chest full of Reiki feeling, I'd let it expand and just, you know, become more powerful and brighter, and then I'd shoot it down into my legs, and I'd just let it, you know, and it would almost give you this feeling like you were standing, like you were a reed blowing in the wind, but it was on fire in a way. And so it was like burning away everything that was impure, and just very, very powerful internal like Qigong that was in between each one of these 18 sets. And so I'd do each set, and I'd come back, and for 3 breaths in and out, then I would do this standing Reiki empowering meditation, Qigong, and then I would go, and then I'd move to, you know, the next drill. And so then I found that, you know, these 18 Reikido drills were actually basically like a type of internal Kung Fu that could cleanse and empower one in an amazing way. And to give you an idea of what the strength of the Reiki, I noticed that when I would do a Reiki session for like 40 minutes, that I would be putting out a lot of Reiki, you know, just out of my body from doing the channeling, a lot of Reiki heat, right? And if I ever did 2 or 3 sessions in a row, then it was like, you know, being on fire. I mean, not in a bad way, but I would be putting out so much Reiki heat, so much Reiki energy, that I remember one class I did 2 or 3 sessions, and I sat down, and I was next to this lady that was in the class, and she asked me if she could move to a different seat. And I was like, that's kind of weird. What, do I smell bad, or what's the problem? And she said, no, I was actually putting out more heat from the Reiki emanating from me than our little furnace that was in the room, you know, a couple feet away. That I was putting out more heat than that, and she was uncomfortable. And so it's that kind of Reiki heat, that kind of Reiki power that is what Reikido or spirit palm actually develops within you. And so not only, you know, did I think, well, maybe this Reiki could be useful, you know, like the Qi development in Tai Chi or Qi Kong for, you know, protection in a martial art. And then what I didn't realize, well, it basically just became exercises that were internal, kind of like yoga or Tai Chi that used Reiki, that would make you a better Reiki healer. And not only that, but it would also defeat the enemy within, the anger, the darkness within. And so it wasn't really about fighting an opponent outside of yourself necessarily, but it was to defeat the opponent within. So anyway, that's what the story was about Reikido Warrior and the 18 drills. And so that's in this little booklet. And the drills in this booklet tell you what to do with the hands and with the body shifting side to side. And then I found that there's a way to move forward and backward using the shifting, and also use kicks as well. And so I'll have to make another little video or booklet about that. And again, so we have the Reikido Warrior Booklet and the little companion booklet that has the Reiki symbols. Okay, and so I know this video is long. We'll see. I might have to break the video down into 2 parts for people. But thanks for being patient and listening to my stories. And again, if you want to purchase the little set of booklets, it's $20 on my Etsy, which is sanctumsatori.etsy.com. And you know, I'll put a link, you know, with the video on here. And if you have any questions about what Reikido is, or spirit palm, or some basic ways to utilize it, because even just the standing posture with the Reiki invocation is very powerful. And you know, when I some people in Reiki, they talk about gasho, and it's just this kind of meditation with the hands together. What I do is a type of invocation where I feel that the Amita Buddha, Amitabha, is connected to Reiki, right? And may even be the patron Buddha of Reiki, since Amitabha is the Buddha of infinite light, right? Infinite, unending, eternal light. So what is more Reiki than that, right? Reiki is the development of light, or the spark within, right? Letting that channel and flow through our bodies. So I do an invocation where I say A-mi to fo. And A-mi-to-fo is the Chinese way of invoking the Amita Buddha, Amitabha, right? So it's A-mi-to-fo. And then that invocation helps me power up when I do Reiki. And it's very powerful. My teacher, she would have us just kind of put the hands together in the gasho and say Reiki, Reiki, Reiki 3 times until you feel that it's starting and it's powering up. And with your attunements, that's generally all you need to do. But I found that I like to use this A-mi-to-fo. And then I can really feel it power up, especially with my hands here on my chest. And then I can start my Reiki session, you know, by asking permission of the client that for the healing and the balancing power of Reiki to help them. And then I kind of move on from there and start my Reiki session. But also with the Reikido exercises, I start with the A-mi-to-fo, and I do that 10 times. 10 times, A-mi-to-fo, right? And I get into the posture, and then I start my first spirit palm movements of the drill. And then again, after each drill, then I Ami Tolfo, and I do my standing stake or my standing meditation for internal development of power. So anyway, I'll probably do another video about that. So thanks again for joining me tonight, and we'll talk to you later. Bye bye.